let's chat about probably my favorite key collector thing service that is provided on that particular app.
It's definitely my favorite. I'm not a big spec person or a key. I don't know key appearances or first appearances of anything or anybody.
Well, it's why KeyCollector has become such a
That's the main feature.
Daily use for us, is because there's so much information that gets packed on there.
Correct.
How do you keep up with it?
KeyCollector is a good way to keep up with it if you are so inclined. I personally am not. I just want to read the damn comics.
Sure.
But KeyCollector does do a service where they will just alert you with hot news that happens in the community.
Oh my gosh, are you talking about
Hot news!
news nuggets?
No, I remember that.
Didn't we had a little bit of a theme song going on?
We tried to. We kept trying to make that happen.
It was like news nuggets.
Nuggets have news.
There it is,
Right.
Comic Fam. Amazing.
We should get that on the soundboard.
This is why the community's here. Slap the like button while you're joining the feed, Comic Fam. We're talking news nuggets. We're going to talk about key alerts over the last couple weeks that interest us. These aren't the only alerts that have gone out if you utilize the best app for comic information, KeyCollector Comics.
So when you subscribe to KeyCollector, when you pay the $2 a month,
It's $2 a month right now.
I know. Every
steal.
time I get a notification from PayPal. It's like, hey, you paid KeyCollector $2, and I'm just like, oh, okay, that's $2.
There we go.
But the main benefit for me is getting notifications on my phone throughout the week that are just like, this news happened.
Right.
This movie thing is heating up. So and such book got optioned, and it's like, oh, cool. And then I swipe it away and get rid of it and move on with my day. Or if it's something I'm super into, I dig in, I research, I go find the articles.
That's how it is, man. Back in the day, I used to have to be up on Variety and Deadline and,
Hollywood Reporter.
Pulling up various websites to find out what's going on and then utilize eBay to figure it out. This is a one-stop shop for all of that. You're going to get the news because KeyCollector's incented to get you this news immediately. Because
and it makes prepping for this show super easy.
It sure does. All right, let's actually take you through some of the key alerts that interest us over the last couple of weeks. Hopefully it provides you with something to something to think about. If something interests you, we're not going to get into the comic book aspects of what the key alerts represent, because each of these alerts has recommendations of books you should consider, especially if you're looking for like first appearances or you're tracking the industry. Utilize KeyCollector Comics. Use this information to then start that process for yourself. But this one dropped 11/18/2021. Key alert was sent out. Vulture, in particular, the Spider-Man villain, Michael Keaton revealed on Jimmy Kimmel that he's currently shooting scenes for his role as the Vulture. First off, the movie's almost out.
No Way Home? I always forget what it's called. Is it No Way Home?
No
Is
Way
that the new
Home.
one? Far From Home already happened.
Yeah, I
No
mix
Way
it up
Home.
all the time, dude.
Oh, it's a mess.
I'm not a big fan of the titling of these movies.
The first one was fine. Homecoming, that made sense.
Sure.
It was easy. It stood out enough.
It's just home, home, home.
That movie's coming out in like 3 weeks.
Very
something.
soon.
So anything he's shooting now is not for that movie.
That's
There's
right.
no possible way they can cram it in there and edit it and distribute. Yeah, it's all done. That movie's in the can. So this is upcoming something as Vulture.
What does that even mean, man? Like, this is going to be just an additional appearance, so we're going to see more of this universe expand. I find that intriguing, considering that Tom Holland has been talking a bunch about the upcoming movie. We expect that. But he's also mentioning, like, he doesn't want to continue as Spider-Man forever. Like, he's kind of planting the seeds there. Like, yo, you guys are seeing me as Spider-Man for some of the last times, is what it feels like.
But then I also heard him say, like, when I was doing this new Uncharted movie, it was like the most stressful, horrible thing I've ever had to do, because there was no like mask for me to hide under and have a stunt guy do it. Like, I had to do all the hard work for that movie. So like, when you think about it, Spider-Man might be kind of easier on like the physical side of it, apart from doing backflips and stuff.
I think he does a lot of the scenes himself, like the, like the dangerous stuff, the stunt double kind of thing. He's typically underneath the mask because he's so talented. I don't know, Comic Fam, let me know what you think in the comment section below, what this Vulture news means. I think that this world is expanding. I'm curious what your thoughts about Tom Holland and continuing his role as Spider-Man. Are we going to see a swapping out of Spideys? Maybe we're going to get a new Spider-Man that's going to be part of this particular feature that Michael Keaton's preparing for and shooting for this month. Intriguing.
This makes me actually want to track down a Jimmy Kimmel clip, which doesn't happen.
Ryan loves Jimmy Kimmel.
I love late night comedy.
Yeah, that's right. That's what it's about. That's what the Comic Fam comes here for.
Safe but funny.
Okay, this is another weird one. I don't think this is an alert. It's like a soft alert because it has the bell here, but I thought it worth mentioning.
A soft alert?
Yeah, you know, some of these alerts actually get like a notification on your phone.
Okay.
But not every notification, rather, not every alert is worth a notification.
Sure.
So there's like different levels to it. You know, something that's really important that's going to spike some books. Yeah, exactly. Breaking news, you guys got to stop what you're doing. These are like, yo, this is happening. You know, so you got to check the app often, not just when they notify you, because you're missing stuff in between. But this one right here is called, it's an update, Marry Me trailer. Dropped. Okay, Marry Me was a comic book about a pop star who decides to marry a fan from the crowd holding a sign that says "Marry Me." I mean, you've experienced this at a concert. You've seen this on television before. People bring signs trying to communicate to the artist. Well, this is going to be a romantic comedy adaptation of a comic book that a lot of people don't even know was a comic. That's going to star Jennifer Lopez and Owen Wilson as the fan. For some reason, I like Owen Wilson too, but I don't think he's got a chance with Jennifer Lopez.
I don't think she has a chance with Owen Wilson.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, he's the real draw here.
He's the draw. She's like, did you see him in Loki?
That's the only reason I would consider watching this movie. I love Owen Wilson.
Dude, Owen Wilson's been killing it lately. He was in that horror movie. I think it's called The Impossible, if I'm not mistaken. That may be the wrong movie, but he was in this like disaster movie where there was it's like a political terrorist attack that happens when him and his family move to another country, and it's all about them escaping during this political uprising. And it's, you know, it's akin to like a, you know, the Day After Tomorrow type of thing, where they're just like, it's constantly them running, fighting, trying to get free and safe.
Except from ICE, they're running from.
Exactly, like people, yeah, individuals are taking over, and you know, he's like there to work, and then you know his family's like start a new life, and then all of a sudden, what's going on in the streets? Oh, the people are starting to be executed and stuff. It's crazy.
Let's believe. Yeah,
so
sounds like a good time.
Well, you know, it was a nice movie to watch prior to his role in Loki, because Loki was so damn good. It made me rethink, all right, I got to watch all this other stuff he's in now, because I don't know, I'm not a huge fan of Owen Wilson. Now I am, you know. But I'm also not a big fan of like some of the other actors he surrounds himself with. Like,
should have been wearing my Zoolander shirt, but
see, I like Zoolander, and it's funny, like you know Ben Stiller and main dude in Zoolander.
Ben Stiller?
No, but other
You're talking about like Will Ferrell?
Will Ferrell, thank you.
Right.
Like I'm not a big fan of Will Ferrell either. So like, you know, it's kind of in that group of comedians.
I will go home right now.
You may have to, but not before we talk about the next key alert comment. What do you think about Marry Me? This is
that sounds kind of funny. Like I'd watch it on TV. I'm not going to the theater to watch that movie, but I'd stream it if it was on, you know, one of the millions of services I'm subscribed to.
Big thank you to Unearthly Comics says No Escape is the movie, and guess what, yo? You just want a giveaway. What are they getting? Oh, an Ice Cream Man Davigo cover. It's our exclusive that we did. We're going to send that to you. Hit the description to find out how to claim that. All right, let's keep it rolling here. You know, and I think there's a lot of these types of movies that, like The Kitchen was another one, where it was more of a mafia, mature movie, but it was a comic book adaptation that was really sold to the mainstream. And then low-key caused a buzz in the comic scene, but not much. Those get missed, though. And sometimes when they land, it's like Sweet Tooth on Netflix. Whoa.
Those are some of my favorite comics too, like non-superhero books. We'll get into that a little later, but
yeah, stay tuned, Comic Fam. Hit the subscribe, slap the like button. I want to see some participation in the chat. We got over 70 people here right now. Thanks for joining us on a Sunday. Let's take a look here. We have Earthworm Gym. We talked about this last week. Actually, just recently on the trending video, Variety reports an Earthworm Gym animated series is in development from Interplay Entertainment Corp. I remember getting my tonsils removed as a young child. I had to have been like 5 years old, right? You ever get your tonsils removed, Ryan?
No, they're still in there.
You still have your tonsils?
Somewhere.
Hopefully you never have to remove them.
Taking time bombs.
Dude, I remember it was rough, dude. Your throat is just trashed. You're eating nothing but like ice cream and Jell-O for like days.
Yeah, that's how it is anyway, right? That's
what I live off now. Is what you is that what you eat? Is that your like primary food groups?
That's my current diet.
Ice Ryan's cream, like I like
nothing
ice cream.
Solid.
Yeah, some reason Ryan is against solid foods.
Just liquids.
It's kind of weird, but I don't judge individuals, you know? Like what you want to eat, it's your body. I'm all about you choosing what you want, but dude, pudding for breakfast every day can't be good for you.
I got teeth. You know, they still work.
Your teeth are actually better than most because you don't use them very often.
Right, they're preserved.
That's right, Comic Fam. So we're talking about Earthworm Gym. So back when I got my tonsils removed, my dad decided to stay from work to take care of me for a few days. And because my teeth were so messed up, not my teeth, excuse me, like my mouth was messed up because of my throat removing, my teeth were fine, but my tonsils were removed, so it was a rough time. I couldn't sleep. I remember waking up and going into the living room where my dad would be playing Earthworm Gym. on.
That's such a Luis game to play.
Dude, he was super into
Ugh.
it. And I would just watch my dad play Earthworm Gym. So I grew up with this particular game. It means something to me because I loved that game as a kid. And I think a lot of people our age remember this if you're a gamer. So Earthworm Gym, we actually got a trailer after this announcement happened, and it looks really funny. It's an animation. It's lively. It's fast, and it's also kind of like in the future. He's aged a little bit, so he's more mature, but he's still as dorky as he was from the game. And
Surprised they never did anything with this before. I remember putting this in the same category as Toe Jam and Earl, like video games that sounded kind of gross that I just never touched.
well, this is a fun one because Earthworm Jim is an actual earthworm in a space suit. And technically, he's from outer space, so he's not necessarily an earthworm.
He's like a Jupiter worm.
Exactly. He's like an alien worm.
Right.
But he doesn't have arms or anything. Underneath that suit is all mechanics. He's like
They got into all this on the Super Nintendo?
They got in this in the trailer. They specifically
Okay.
show his schematics.
Oh, goodness.
That's right.
Getting way too into this.
I know, dude. It's Earthworm Jim's
Earthworm
Jim. Comic fam. I gotta know what you think about Earthworm Jim. This was a November 18th key alert. Next on this list is Gru the Wanderer. We have, after witnessing months of sales activity on the Gru series, posted November 19th on KeyCollector, The Hollywood Reporter confirms the film and TV rights have been acquired by Productions for development. Gru the Wanderer is joining a slate of independent, respected comic books such as Crow, such as Usagi Yojimbo, TMNT. The list is growing and growing. And this right here is no surprise to individuals who like independent comic books. This is one of the longer running independent comics that was debuted in Destroyer Duck, the comic book done by Steve Gerber and Jack Kirby, a lawsuit that was being fought by Steve Gerber for getting paid what he felt he was owed from the Howard the Duck creation during artists' rights at their peak. Neil Adams getting involved, artists fighting for their dues because their comics they were making were selling more in the aftermarket than they even got paid to do the damn work. So Steve Gerber teamed up with Jack Kirby, did this Destroyer Duck, which is one of Jack Kirby's most underrated comic books. It's a 3-issue series, but also there were a couple backups from other creators, one of them being Sergio, who created Gru the Wanderer. So this right here has spiked that book up as of late, but Gru is a beloved character, a funny version of Conan. Doesn't say much, but has definitely got its spot on a lot of collectors' comic book bookshelves. And seeing this right here is more of the attention to nostalgia that we knew was starting as early as last year. That's now starting to see its peak with property after property getting picked up. And
All I know about Gru is that Russ likes it.
I would also put Bone in this category.
Right, it reminds me of Bone.
Christopher Wells has said in the chat. It's a good observation. All right, next here is a key alert for the Ahsoka casting. Ahsoka Tano, Rosario Dawson. We knew when we saw Mandalorian, seeing Ahsoka play a large role in that narrative, that was possibly going to set up narratives that would connect to more of that like clone saga right around that point in the Star Wars mythos.
I'm surprised how much Star Wars knowledge you have for someone who like as outspokenly just not into it.
I think it's proof that I'm doing the work on the back end for the show.
Right.
Because I'm not well-versed in Star Wars. I had to become well-versed because last year with The Mandalorian, everything blew up.
Yeah.
I had to learn about it. I had to watch so much Star Wars. And honestly, to this day, I'm not even that big of a Star Wars fan. My favorite Star Wars movies are ones that people don't care for.
My favorite one's Revenge of the Sith. I'll say that again and again on
Whoa.
the mic. And people get mad at me for that one, but I don't care.
Wait a minute. Revenge of the Sith.
That's the one, that's episode 3?
Yeah,
from
right?
2005?
That's like the Hayden Christensen.
Correct.
All right, yeah, that's definitely not the favorite of a lot of people, but this right here is signs that we are getting more of that particular time frame adapted to the screen, where that's really where a lot of people want to see. They want to see Darth Vader becoming who he becomes prior to him getting killed and his narrative seeing its peak during the prequel movies 4, 5, and 6. Well, Ahsoka, Ezra Bridger, Sabine Wren, Thrawn, that all happens right around that time prior to those prequels. So we're going to see these narratives take off, and Ahsoka is part of the Trinity, the trifecta, Sabine and Ezra. We knew that could possibly happen had the Ahsoka feature been so promising and so successful. Well, clearly it is. We got the Thrawn name drop in Mandalorian. Thus, no surprise that Ahsoka's getting her own spin-off series, and with Sabine Wren getting cast, who knows where they're going to go with it.
Makes me realize I need to watch Star Wars Rebels, because a lot of this stuff was seeded
it's all part
in
of
that show. Yeah, that cartoon.
Well, she's got to go and find Ezra. You know, Thrawn's going to be an antagonist. There's rumors that Thrawn is going to get his own solo series. He is, from my understanding, because my Star Wars, there's people who know Star Wars know the hell out of Star Wars.
Correct.
But without a doubt, every single person I've talked to about Thrawn and what I've read, he is like one of the ultimate bads. He is so smart as a general. He's like Batman. He's thought things out 10 steps ahead of you. That's why he's dangerous.
One of the earliest sets of Star Wars books that I read that came out after Return of the Jedi and after the initial Star Wars movie fever had kind of died off because the movies were done. They wrote a trilogy of books, and Thrawn was the main villain in those after the Empire and Darth Vader were all gone. So he did a really good job as an antagonist. Enough so that people like 30 years later are still Thrawn crazy.
And he's blue, da-bo-dee-da-bo-da. All right.
He is blue, correct.
All right, this next key alert I'm so hyped about. Blade Runner and Alien. Variety reports Ridley Scott is writing a Blade Runner and Alien TV series. Comic Fam, we are available on SoundCloud, Spotify, Stitcher, and iTunes. If you'd like to listen to the podcast, it comes out upwards of a week later. I have been saying this. We're going to probably continue this part of the conversation in later segments, but there is an interesting decision that producers and directors have to make, which is what's going to be better for movies, what's going to be better for a series now.
Right.
Because now we have proven with Disney Plus, HBO Max, some adaptations are better over a slow burn release 6-episode series. Some are better for movies. I think both Blade Runner and Alien have both been franchises that, as like someone who loves both, I'm a big Alien fan. I don't care how bad the movie is. I'm going to pay to see it, probably in theater, because I just want to be in that world. I don't care if the movie isn't as good as the last one.
I like Prometheus.
I love Prometheus.
Exactly.
Prometheus is fantastic.
No matter what people say.
Oh, it's so good, man. It's so good. And I spend way too much time researching that world. So this right here gets me hyped because I think both of these properties should be series. These are both unique worlds, universes in themselves that have so much development opportunity.
They've proven also specifically through comics. There's been plenty of comic books based on each, Blade Runner and Alien. So like there's room there for any amount of story to kind of grow. TV show just makes sense.
And with Ridley Scott attached.
That's the best case scenario.
Best case scenario, Comic Fam. Take a look at both of these properties on KeyCollector. There's a lot of like really cool key books that people miss in the dollar bins because they just don't take the time to learn about the first symbiote appearance, the first AVP appearance. A lot of this happened in Dark Horse days. They acquired the rights to the Alien properties, to the Predator properties. And this was kind of an interesting thing to have happened back then because these were giant movies and Dark Horse wasn't a giant publisher at the time. So they did their best to pay respects to the narratives. And a lot of fans of these franchises hold these, like they put these narratives on a pedestal, these stories, these comic books, because then Marvel acquired them, changed it up. It's cool. I like it. But the Dark Horse days are ones that people should really consider, going through and owning.
I haven't gone back and read the Dark Horse and Alien stuff.
All right, look at this. Quantum Mania, November 23rd. We got Principal Photography announced that has wrapped the film up. They finished the film. Quantum Mania is coming. Likely going to see Kang in this. And Ant-Man, some of my favorite Marvel movies.
Jonathan Majors has confirmed he's definitely in Ant-Man 3. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, they've mentioned that, which also was interesting. It's why I thought he would make an appearance in Loki, because I didn't think they could premiere him in Quantum Mania.
Yeah. This is just a small little nugget. And what did you say? The yellow bell means it doesn't show up on your phone. They're not going to like notify you for this.
Yeah, this is one of those. Hey, let's just alert. This is like it's an update. The updates are a bell.
Report. They finished filming, which means now they just got to do all the special effects and all the music and the editing, and so like there's still a lot of work to do on the movie, but they have finished shooting the movie.
So it's happening, and I think these types of updates are important because we're getting so many delays in film when spec is involved.
Right. When
you're trying to invest in comics, maybe get ahead of the curve, maybe secure something before you think it's going to go up, so you want to get it for your own PC, so you don't have to overpay in a year. You're kind of planning, doing some planning with your money. It's these types of updates that are going to tell you what you should be looking at, what you got to monitor, and maybe what you should move if it's the right time, in your opinion. All right, let's keep it rolling because we have Draculina. All right, Vampirella's sister is getting her own series over at Dynamite starting in February 2022. This is cool because like Vampirella's dope, but from what I know, her sister, who debuted in like the 60s, I believe it's like Vampirella issue 2, but don't quote me on that. Look on KeyCollector. This particular character has been she's been utilized very little in comic book history. Then they brought her back in the Betty Page spinoff that they did. They started building the universe, crossing Red Sonja over with Vampirella and Betty Page, because that's like all Dynamite IPs. And they brought Draculina to the pages of that book. And what we have is a character that was like kicked out of hell after trying to overtake, you know, the queen status, which her mother is Lilith. And now she's going to get her own series, which is pretty cool. I may actually I think I'm going to add this to my pull list because Vampirella, the thing that's kind of put that lower on my list of ongoing reads is I don't know really where to start.
That's exactly why I've never tried it. Yeah, it's like it's overwhelming. I don't know where to begin, but this seems like a pretty clear, relatively fresh, unused character that I can. If you can't do Vampirella, this might be a nice secondary choice.
Yeah, I think I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into this one and then maybe go backwards because you're probably going to be introduced to a lot of the family, considering it's her sister.
True.
Look out for that in February. I put this one on here, man, because I was so hyped when I saw this. Fire Guy Ryan. This dude, fire! I'm telling you, man, it's like a superpower that you have. It's interesting that you are not someone who specs on comics, really.
No.
You buy comics for reading purposes primarily, and I love that because I do the same. I buy a lot of comics just to read them. Like, I think the community would be surprised how many comics I buy just to read them versus spec, right? We talk about a lot of comics. If I bought every single comic, you know, my house would be a comic store, not a home. You know, it'd just be overwhelming.
It's already a little bit of both.
It's rough, man. It's rough, but it's what we do for the comic fam. So this book you put on the list a while back for us to review, Proctor Valley Road, because it was just super interesting. It was it Alex Child, Garth Ennis on Boom Studios?
Grant Morrison.
Thank you.
There you go.
That'd be interesting if it was Garth Ennis. Grant Morrison, excuse me.
Writing a bunch of kids.
Yeah, I got Grant Morrison or Garth Ennis on the brain.
I get that mixed up too.
A little bit, but they're very different and both unique in their own right. It would be probably a lot darker if if it was the former. But
more kids would have died.
Yeah, more kids. But there's a good amount of death in here.
Yes.
But this right here, writer of Proctor Valley Road, Alex Child, told Spec Tales podcast that Grant Morrison co-written property is Option, which we assume is with the producer UCP based on his relationship with the company. So this right here is Option, and this is a affordable book. A lot of people weren't buying this. We brought this to the mic because we thought it was so good that people should go out and buy it because we thought they could find it still at LCS's.
Just a 5-issue Boom miniseries. Came and went. You know, it was a good read. I recently sold my whole set on a claim sale like a month or two ago for now that this news came out. I should have held on to it for a little longer, but
oh, it happens, Ryan. Welcome to dealing in comics.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you sell stuff a little too soon. So somebody out there got a good deal now that this news is out there.
I think you sold it as a set too, which is really dope.
Connecting variants, they were really cool.
Yeah, they were good, man. And now the book's piping hot. You know, it's still, I think people can find it for under $10 still. This is it's Option, but it's not like, oh my gosh, this is happening right now. This is in the very early stages. So this
different degrees.
This is the time people are going to spend upwards of like, I would imagine $15 on a near mint copy.
Just because it's Option doesn't mean you're going to see it in a year or whatever. It doesn't mean you're going to see it at all.
We talked about Sweet Tooth for 3 freaking years, dude.
Yeah.
But then when it landed,
the first step.
Woo, it landed hard. But Proctor Valley Road, I highly recommend this to the comic fam. All right, and if you want to support the show, get access to all this stuff. Oh my goodness, I got to keep that volume down. If you want to get access to all these things, make sure to download the best comic app in existence to better your comic knowledge, keep up on the industry, KeyCollector Comics. Use code TOM101 to unlock a free 2-week subscription. That's going to get you access to the categories that are literally put together to help your investing, your spec, getting ahead of the curve. It's like literal thought is going into the books that go on here so that you can do better than what you purchased them at. Ideally, You're making money off the comic purchases that you're making with the tools provided by the $2 a month subscription service. However, the app in its entirety beyond that is free. The catalog, the key comics, the referencing that you can utilize, and things like the randomizer, for example. Just the knowledge base is all there for you to consume. But $2 a month to get access to key alerts, these updates that we're talking about, so you can stay up on the not just the inventory, but the industry itself. And you can use code Tom101 to unlock the free 2 weeks and support the show.
Starting the auction off at $1 for 1 minute, like we always do.
This is one of our favorite covers, and you got it.
A little bit of that, what y'all been looking for, right? A little bit of that, what y'all been looking for, right?